Hi and welcome to this edition of RCC Connections. I'm your host, Kathy Cheek. This time we're going to tell you about a brand new program going on with the Arts Division. It is the new Professional Arts and Crafts program, and you can concentrate in one of three areas. One is clay, another is sculpture, and photographic technology. One of the areas for concentration in this new Professional Arts and Crafts program is clay. We're going to talk to a recent student here at RCC, Chanel Dennis. She's actually throwing something for us right now. Chanel, what do you think you're going to make for us?
I'm hoping to make a teapot.
A teapot. So tell me, what do you like about clay?
Clay is very sensual, opposed to like painting. It's very calming. You don't seem to get as frustrated, and it's almost like you become one with the material.
And you have some goals that you would like to do some painting.
Yes. I actually am going to continue my degree at UNCG, and I'm hoping to get a concentration in painting.
So tell us a little bit about the process of what you're doing.
So right now I'm trying to center the clay. When you center it, it's not going to be wobbly, and you won't find that it's slanted. And so that's what you have to start out with doing, and then you will start your opening, which I'll do soon. That way we can get the deepness of the teapot, and then we'll start to build it up to get the height on it, and then we'll just go from there.
Tell us about your experience here at RCC and what it's been like in these arts areas.
It's been very helpful. The professors are very one-on-one, even though some of the classes may seem big, you still get that one-on-one help, as well as it's like a sense of community here. You can rely on the students to help you out, and the professors are they know what they're talking about. They're very educated in their field.
So if you had your druthers, would you like to be a professional painter and have your own studio, that kind of thing?
Yes, I would like to actually be featured in galleries. That's my goal, is to be in a couple of galleries. Right now I'm in the process of creating a series to submit to the Pierogi Gallery, so that's my ultimate goal.
We're going to find out about this new program. It's really exciting, and to talk to us about that is Pat Harden. Pat, you've been at RCC for
23 or 4. I don't remember.
A few years, anyway.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us all about this new program and why you guys decided to start doing it.
Well, when Dr. Helmick first came, one of the first things he said to me was, we want to start production crafts. And actually we had been discussing it before that because of the high interest of clay in the county. In fact, because of the pottery program here, the Piedmont Pottery Festival came as a result of potters that had studied here. So when we began looking into the programs that the state offers, we settled on clay, which is a professional crafts program, sculpture, which is called Professional Arts and Crafts Programming, and then photography is photographic technology. With sculpture, the requirements are largely metal and clay, but for the electives we've added classes that will allow students to explore wood, plaster, other types of medium in sculpture. With clay, it's largely production crafts to go out and actually make pots and sell them. These are entrepreneurial programs, and they are designed to prepare the students for business. So the programs include business, they include marketing. It's an immersion into a specific medium, and they will get design principles, and so we're hoping that this will, first of all, increase offerings from the college to the community and fulfill needs that exist in the community. Also offer people opportunities to explore areas that they didn't have the opportunity to explore in this depth without driving to a university, because these programs in this depth are not offered locally, even within a 15 or 20-minute drive. So that was sort of the focal point, Dr. Helmick wanting to expand on the programs that he had actually worked with at Western Piedmont. And so that was the catalyst to really exploring what the state had to offer and which directions that we wanted to go with this.
So this will be somewhat unique for RCC to have this
Yes.
kind of program.
This is a very unique program for RCC because we haven't explored play to the extent that we will. For instance, our first class, Introduction to Pottery, in the fall is 18 contact hours. That's in the studio, and which means that people, they are not just coming in for 3 hours twice a week and doing what they can in 6 hours. They really have time to develop their skills, to hone their skills, not just learning how to center a piece of clay, but learning how far they can push the clay and learning about how their hands work in reaction to the clay, the pressure, the rhythm, because it is rhythm. There's a rhythm to the wheel that you can feel when you're throwing. They can develop forms and really work on forms. Rather than learning to make a bowl, they're going to learn how to make a bowl and refine the bowl so that it functions well as whatever it's intended to function, which is really, with any sort of art, it needs to function. It needs to do what it's supposed to do. If it's supposed to be a baking dish, it should be something that you can pick up with oven mitts and not easily drop. So you have to think about all kinds of uses. You have to think about, are people going to put it in the microwave? Are they going to put it in the oven? Are they going to go freezer to oven? You've got to really think about all of these things. And that's what this program is about. It's about thinking about everything that you make and creating designs and forms and decoration that you enjoy but that will work, and also that are marketable.
We talked the other day and you were talking about how students going into this really need to think outside the box of just making a bowl or a sculpture or a picture. Talk about what this program will hopefully help them do beyond that.
Well, I think it's shown the pragmatic reality that this can be done. It is being done. It's being done by people within their own community, and there are best practice ways to go about doing it. A lot of folks my age know the popular myth of Ava Gardner, the Greensboro gal that was supposedly discovered in a soda fountain by a Hollywood agent, and they went and made her a movie star. And folks in our program will discover that that's not the best way to depend on doing it, to make things in the studio and to hope to be discovered by an agent. You've got to discover yourself. You've got to promote yourself. You've got to know who you are, what you can do. You have to be able to do it well. And then you've got to be able to promote the fact that you do it well and to find out who needs that thing that you do. There are sort of three jobs really in life. The first job is to find a job. The second job is to do the job well. And the third job is to assess what you're doing and to prove to the world that you're doing that job well. I think this program will really focus with intensity on all three aspects of that.
How is this different than getting an Associate's of Fine Arts degree?
The AFA is an introduction to design. I mean, they have to have design because that's your basic art elements. Drawing, painting, sculpture, clay, a lot of different mediums, so that they then transfer to a university to complete their training. And it will, some people do transfer and focus in ceramics. Some people transfer and focus in sculpture, you know, wanting to be studio artists. Others will transfer and look towards graphic design or advertising or illustration, fashion design, architectural design, interior architectural design. So there are all kinds of possibilities. The AFA is just sort of the step to get to all these other choices that they have. These programs are not just one step. They take you all the way to having finished products learning how to work with customers, learning how to make proposals for commissions, learning how to work with clients, and being a successful artist.
There are some students that will come to RCC and they'll want to come here for 2 years and then go on and finish a 4-year or even further degree at another college, at that point choosing their area of specialty. But there are other people that already have some sort of idea of what they want to do. They want to go into business as artists, and that is possible. I personally know 2 sculptors in this area that make very fine livings working with insight-specific sculptural installations. And there are ways to do that, and the skill set that you need for that is different than what would be needed for a traditional liberal arts degree.
Tell me a little bit about what can you walk away with? Is it always a degree, or what are some of the?
We have 3 different levels for each of these areas. You can get a certificate, which does give you a sort of a good taste of the medium, whether it's photography or clay or sculpture. You will have some skills. You will also get some kind of business and marketing, entrepreneurship experience. And we also have a diploma, which is a little more time, a little more in-depth, and then the degree, which is about 2.5 years, 2 years and a summer to complete. The diploma is about 1.5 to 2 years, the certificate 1 year. And so the level of experience, of course, deepens with each step that you choose to take.
These new students, these professional arts sort of students, will leave with a certificate or a diploma that will enable them to start thinking about going into business as artists, as producers, as people that can seek out work, studio work, or perhaps gallery business, and make a name for themselves without the traditional sort of milieu of further education and a broader sort of expansive educational experience.
What do you think the market is? What have you heard anything in the community or in the area about people learning about this program, and kind of are they excited? Or?
Well, actually, I had students bugging me. When can I sign up? When can I sign up? They were wanting to register for photography and actually transfer into the photography program before we had state approval. And of course, we couldn't do that. So we have had a lot of calls, and we have had a lot of people asking questions and expressing interest.
We're talking with one of the students now. This is Amy Jernigan, and Amy has been in the AFA program, which is the Associate of Fine Arts degree, and we've seen you already. We're going to see you doing lots of different things. You can do almost anything out here in the arts program, but you've decided to take part in the new program. So tell us what you're going to do and why you decided to do it.
Well, I decided to transfer over into the sculpture program. One, because when I took a generalized sculpture course that is required during the for the fine art major, I just loved all of it. I mean, we did metal, we did wood, and we did clay, and I just felt like I found my niche. I was going through all of the classes with the fine arts, and I hadn't found that niche. I love painting, yes. I love this. Not too keen on the drawing. It can get a little hairy sometimes, but when I get into the sculpture part of it, it's just working with the hands, I think, is the most part. And power tools don't really hurt either.
So what do you think you want to do when you finish the sculpture program?
Well, I would like, ideally, most people say to have their own studio. I'd like to do that some on the side. I'm not opposed, that's the word, to working for somebody, because sometimes that can take a little less pressure off. And you can do your own pieces on the side, and you don't have to have as much income coming in if you have another steady flow coming in otherwise. And so I haven't fully decided. That's one of the things that as I finish through this program, I look at finishing deciding.
Will there be traditional, what we think of as general education courses that they will have to take, like history and math?
The
and some
gen
of those
ed
things?
courses are minimal. There are more required for the diploma, I believe a total of 15 hours of gen ed, 2 Englishes, 1 math, 1 science, 1 history. That may
Okay.
not be right, but it is a total of 15 hours. And for the diploma, it's less than that. For the certificate, there's no gen ed.
Okay. So it just kind of depends, again, on the level that you've chosen to go through, how much other stuff will
Right.
be included, and your time investment in it.
Exactly, but the focal point is your medium, your experiences, and learning to develop that medium. The gen ed courses that are included are meant to enhance your experience and well, communication skills, for instance. You need communication skills to function as a business person, as an entrepreneur. I know people think, oh, artists are creative and they can't be organized, and accounting, taxes, well, you know, that's a fact of life. You have to keep up with your materials and supplies. You have to file taxes unless you want to go to jail. I'll visit anybody, but I don't think anybody wants to go to jail. So the courses are really designed to help you along those lines. So they are minimal, but they're there with a purpose.
What are some things that you think students can do with these 3 programs? What kind of market is out there for some of these art and craft kind of things?
Well, North Carolina, along with many parts of the nation, often have budgets, governmental budgets, building budgets that designate a certain percentage to aesthetic considerations that have to be spent on creating artwork to enhance the aesthetic usability of the space. There are competitions, there are collaborations, there are artisan residencies, there are community projects. Cities and communities need gateways, they need sculptures, they need fountains, they need advertisements that our photography program could help with. There are so many, there's a kaleidoscope of possibilities in the arts that goes beyond the idea of writing the great American novel or making the new great American masterpiece in the studio and hoping that some visionary collector will buy it. That's actually a fairly recent consideration in the history of art. For the most part, the history of culture has involved the sort of passive participation of patronage, people that enjoy and want and see the usefulness in beauty, and people that are active participants in making beauty and supply, and when you get those two together, and that's what this program hopes to do. We hope to create people that can make art, can understand with some profundity what's involved in all aspects of making sculpture, in making digital art, in working with clay, and they can also understand the audience out there, the potential patron out there, how to contact them, what the needs are, how to create needs, and what's best business practice about how to enter that world and to build from the ground up. I have students currently who are interested in this very area and opening up a combination art gallery and studio and art supply store. And what they need is the smarts, what we used to call the moxie, to be able to do something like that. And this is the ideal program to serve that need.
So if some students have been in the continuing ed program doing some of these things, what will it take for them to get to be a part of this?
They are part of the reason that we are setting this up, because we have had so many students throughout the years to come to the continuing ed courses and then go out and set up businesses and studios and sell their work. And so we thought we would better prepare them. They will have to do the application process and go through the admissions process.
You were talking about how, like in clay or in sculpture in particular, you could make a gateway for a new home, or you could make a fence, or lots of other things than just something that we put on a shelf, which may be what a lot of people think of when they think of the arts and crafts.
Yeah, I think we've come sadly to the point where we think of art as that useless thing that we dust off on the counter once a year. But the truth is, we're surrounded by art. Everything we do is art, including this interview. And the decisions we make are all aesthetic decisions. What are we going to look like? How are we going to speak? What is the nature of our workspace going to be? What is the nature of our living space going to be? What is something going to enhance the usability of the world that we live in? We are surrounded by art, either thoughtless bad art or thoughtful good art. And I guess part of the job of our artists as they grow is to educate people about that language, that we're all speaking that language. We're either speaking it articulately or inarticulately, and we want to educate our public as we provide them with these very useful aesthetic experiences. You know, Plato said there were three great things: truth and goodness, and of course those are two things that Americans still believe in powerfully. But equal with those two was the idea of beauty, that beauty was a very useful thing. In many indigenous cultures, there is no word for art, because everything they make, whether it's a clay bowl, a wooden basket, or an image, has a purpose, has a usefulness. And part of the usefulness, Pat Harden talked a little while ago about the usefulness of a pot, that you can pick it up and not drop it as you take it from oven to table. But also part of the usefulness of an object lies within its beauty. Everybody has a favorite tea or coffee cup that you pick up, and the liquid tastes better. It feels better in your hand. You're liable to go to it more often with that cup than with the styrofoam cup that you got from the fast food restaurant. You keep that one and you throw that one away. That one's good for you. It's useful in the productive enjoyment of your life, rather than just useful in sort of an existence kind of fashion.
And so what's your experience been like at RCC so far?
Awesome. I mean, I have been here since '09 actually, and I can only go part-time because I learned very quickly that my brain will not accept more than 2 classes a semester without saying, help me. So I'm taking my time and actually be able to get into the subject and learn as much as I can about the subject. And so the teachers through all the teachers that I've had have just been phenomenal. And they help me with the one-on-ones, and it's just I'm not sure how else to describe it. It's just an awesome experience.
Tell me a little bit about photography and what draws you to it.
Well, I started in photography because I had a lot of cousins and younger siblings and things like that, and I wanted to see them grow up in front of the camera, and so that transferred into a love of being with other people's moments and being able to capture them and preserve them forever, because everybody's not going to be here forever, so you want to capture those memories. So that's how I kind of started with that.
And do you have some plans for using photography as a profession, or?
I would like to open up my own studio space. That's kind of a future goal, maybe in 5 years. But right now I'm just doing mostly freelance work. I got certified with the state so that I'm a licensed business now. I just have nowhere to work. So that's my next goal.
Okay. So now, photography in this day and age is more than just capturing that picture, right?
Oh, yeah.
What happens once you capture the photos?
Once you capture them in your digital camera, you can transfer them over into the camera, and that's where I really like to work, because you could do different effects with them. You can turn them into black and white, or you can do what's my standard that I go to is doing everything in black and white, but one specific item in color. It just brings more focus to that image, as well as doing multi-images that you can put together, and it just makes a piece look nicer than just a standard photo.
how do you view photography, or why do you think photography isn't art?
Well, I actually had that question posed to me the other day, actually, and I told them that it's not just about capturing an image or capturing like a milestone. It's telling a story with that picture. It's just the same as doing painting, but instead of a paintbrush, you have a camera. So you can tell different stories from different angles. Also, if you want like a child's view, you probably wouldn't stand at a normal height to take the picture. You'd get down on the ground and take the picture. So I like that storytelling element that you can put in there.
And what do students need to do if somebody's listening to this or watching this and say, hey, I think I want to be a part of that? What do they need to do?
Well, the easiest way to get more information is to call RCC at 342-4261, extension 2333. That takes you to the admissions office. And if anyone wants to talk to me, they can get contact information from the admissions office. And I'll be glad to talk to anyone about any of the programs that they're interested in.
In this program, we've talked about photographic technology. We've looked at some sculpture and how to make some clay projects. And in this new program, you can learn how to do it and become a professional and have it as your business. If you're interested in this or any other things going on here at Rockingham Community College, just contact the admissions office. I'm Kathy Cheek, your host. Thanks for watching.